Hello, everyone. Good day. My name is Thiago Vidal Munhoz. I'm part of EMBA59, class of June 2025, and this is my leading organization's presentation on the away travel case study. Many thanks in advance for your attention today. Before we start, I just wanted to quickly show my ID as required. Thanks. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I chose question number 4 as the theme for my presentation that challenges me to make recommendations on how Rubio might build an inclusive culture at a way that engages underrepresented groups using my knowledge of team building and team effectiveness. After going through the case study and associated articles, I was indeed able to put together several recommendations for Rubio. Before we delve into those, I just want to set the scene regarding the very challenging situation Jane Rubio faced herself with when she took over the role of Away CEO in January 2021. Back then, her business was not doing well at all. Despite the initial success, the company's internal practices undermined its own business results upon being exposed. The disconnect between Away's public image of inclusivity and its internal culture led to a loss of consumer trust, brand loyalty, and significant drop in sales, completely stressing the company. It was evident that that leadership style had brought a negative impact to Away's organization culture and how they were perceived, with Steph Curry being at the center of it. Despite multiple efforts, the company faced further criticism when it was revealed that managers instructed employees not to engage with the negative press online. Add to that the rapid succession of CEOs, and what followed was instability, lack of clear direction, and continuity in leadership. As a result, Away was unable to effectively and timely make the changes it needed. One silver lining, though, was questions if female CEOs are held to different standards and whether they are given the same latitude to correct course as their male counterparts. Finally, there was the problem of the toxic organization culture. Unrealistic expectations, excessive workloads, lack of work life balance, harsh public criticism from leadership, you name it. While Away sold an image of inclusivity and shared purpose, which attracted young, idealistic employees, the internal practices were in complete misalignment. The staff's morale was in very bad shape. The worst challenge, perhaps yet, was the appalling lack of awareness and respect about underrepresented groups. Talking about marginalization, censoring of communication policies, use of language that would make people uncomfortable, and even active retaliation actions. And that's precisely the main point I'm going to address next. How can Rubio apply team building effectiveness best practices to build a new culture at a way that engages underrepresented groups, namely LGBTQ, indigenous people, and people of color? So here are my recommendations. First one, understand the as is scenario and perform a gap analysis. Engage external consultants to perform a culture audit to identify gaps between the current state and desired inclusive culture. In addition, Ruby should implement anonymous surveys to gather employee feedback on current cultural issues and inclusivity. Furthermore, Away ought to adopt gender neutral and inclusive leave policies that support diverse employee needs, develop an employee handbook that includes clear policies on inclusivity, harassment, and respect. Such policies should also include an article around see something, say something, that not only empowers staff to be vocal about issues, but also makes it their duty with the certainty that any retaliations would yield punitive measures. And ensure that these policies are communicated effectively. Moreover, we should implement an open doors policy for HR, where folks can come and denounce any violations of these said policies. Another useful tool that I believe would incentivize all staff to act with respect towards underrepresented groups would be to add performance goals centered on inclusion and even have specific awards issued to top inclusion champions and supporters. Once that is done, it's time for Rubio to operationalize the changes by doing the following. Kick off a business transformation program to operationalize procedures, initiatives, and recurring activities. Then my next recommendation has to do with leadership. I recommend that managers go through mandatory annual inclusion learning and are encouraged to also attend servant and transformative leadership training. Moreover, leadership should regularly share updates about company decisions, including those affecting work culture, using various platforms for communication to ensure inclusivity. Leaders should make themselves available to employees via either skip levels, office hours, or ask the president CEO events. My fifth recommendation aims to foster a supportive and collaborative environment for all staff. It's centered on forming an inclusion community of practice. Besides tailored inclusion training for individual contributors, other key technical practices and techniques include having teams draft personal user manuals and social contracts. While the former gives individuals the chance to share how they operate, their preferences, things they are sensitive of, behaviors they won't tolerate, etc., for enhanced mutual understanding and collaboration. The latter, social contracts, puts some good structure around team member explicitly committing to inclusivity and respect in a team setting. Social contracts should be reviewed periodically to address any emerging issues and reinforce commitment to inclusivity. In addition, OA should establish support networks and safe spaces for underrepresented groups within the organization that can provide counseling services and even arbitration if conflicts emerge. Another great tool is to promote team collaboration and self direction. OA should invest in strategies, frameworks, and tools that encourage teamwork and cross functional collaboration. A great example is Agile, which fosters self direction and includes regular playbacks and retrospectives, where teams can openly discuss what's working well, what is not, and what changes need to be made. To close the loop, Ruby needs to make sure there are continual improvements in place. The Check and Act part of the PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act, or also known as the Deming cycle. In that sense, having metrics that reflect true progress and can be tracked over time is crucial. Inclusivity and cultural changes, KPIs should be established, monitored, and socialized on a regular basis. My next recommendation has to do with transparent communication. Always should ensure regular, transparent communication about the steps being taken to improve culture and inclusivity, as well as celebrate its own successes, i.e., publicly celebrate wins and milestones in cultural transformation to reinforce the new values and practices. In addition, they should consider hosting cultural and diversity related events to acknowledge and honor the varied backgrounds of employees. My eighth and final recommendation is to implement feedback and recognition systems by developing an inclusive feedback culture through mechanisms for ongoing and at times anonymous constructive feedback that gathers input from all levels of the organization. Furthermore, a way ought to design recognition programs that are fair, transparent, and celebrate diverse contributions. With that, I trust that Rubio would have all the right elements and catalyzers in place to elevate her teams, shape a new, healthy, inclusive work culture that engages and benefits all individual contributors, the company as a whole, and that finally aligns with Away's statement of purpose. And that concludes my presentation today. Thank you,